respect to you all. Welcome to Demolished Doctrine, the beginning of the end of religion. And our first time guest, welcome, please, Sister Nisha. Nisha, if you would be so kind as to tell people whatever you feel like sharing about yourself, including like your belief systems, what you do as hobbies, whatever you'd like to share.
Okay, give me 1 sec because I do got an echo. Is it coming from that? I think it is.
Now I'm monitoring YouTube right now, but I've got the site muted. It's making no sound of us speaking. So
Okay.
if you have YouTube open somewhere, hi.
Hi, everybody in YouTube land. Mwah, got me laugh.
Right on. So if you have a YouTube open somewhere, and speaking of which, if you wanted to share it out to people who are subscribed to you, that would be okay. Of course, if you want to mirror this to your channel later because you really liked the talk and you wanted to show it to your friends, feel free to do that.
I think that's where the echo came from because I did try to mirror it, but I'll rather just do it later. And then tie it in like that. So we're good.
Do you have a program that you can download an entire talk like this and put it up on your channel easily? Do you have one of those? Because I would recommend one.
Yes, I do.
Okay, cool beans. All right. Okay, so a little bit of side business, peace and respect, Commander 401, Mac the Human, Spooky Bedhair, Math Pig, and Clout. Which I haven't seen Clout for a minute. It's good to see you. Math Pig, we're not canceling our show just because we're going to do this for 45 minutes first. It's no reason to cancel our show. We've got just under an hour right now to do this, and I still intend to do the show. I thought about canceling it, but I thought there's no need to. Nisha can be concise enough that we can say something in 45 minutes, yeah?
Yes.
Okay. So we were shooting a little bit of the breeze, and a topic came up before the show started, peace and respect, it's Skinny. Before the show started, and I was talking about how I got corrected. And I would share I'll show you mine if you show me yours, how the Lord, the Father corrected me and what that experience is like. And if I would think that you did have a similar experience at some point. Yeah?
Yes.
Yeah. And if you wanted to share that.
Yes, I do have cases where I was corrected, and that was in 2016. That was one case. Now there was many that I didn't pay attention to, but in 2016 it got to a point where I couldn't ignore it. I kept trying to deny I was seeing things that I was seeing. There was times where I was not in the body, and I was trying to rationalize that with my human mind. And
of course.
The more I tried to rationalize those things, those experiences where I was not in the body, the more it made me and I can feel myself breaking because I was trying to rationalize something. And so when I finally gave into those things, my life got better. It did. I mean, not that it was hard, but my reasoning, my peace of mind got a little bit better. And that was just once you get connected to the real God, that was just the real God just saying, you know what? I I really, really, I really am interested in you. I really care about you. And I really want you to believe I do exist. And unfortunately, sometimes when you deal with atheists or unbelievers, they want to know why you believe. And it's hard to explain to atheists and unbelievers my experience with the real God cannot convince you of him.
Sure.
It has to be your own in your own environment. And it's okay if you do not believe me, but rest assured, if and when that time comes where something happens to you and it changes your life, then you can say, okay, you can look back on all these things and say, okay, maybe I was wrong. And we all have that point where we're going, I was wrong. This person was telling me something and I wasn't ready for it. And
Hmm.
you hear a lot about that in the scriptures constantly, where they're saying, how can I explain heavenly things to you?
That's
Because
true.
they're foolishness to you. And the carnal mind, I I can understand what atheists and unbelievers deal with, because the carnal mind wants to rationalize things, even though when they're looking at a red apple, technically the apple isn't red. They don't understand that, because we have to rationalize it. They don't understand there's a few elements that are bending light and making this apple appear red. They don't understand that part of it, and that we
Yeah,
have
actually,
a
an apple that appears whatever color,
mhm
or any object that appears whatever color, is soaking up all the rest of the light spectrum and only reflecting that color. It's actually
exactly,
every other color but that.
exactly. And so, the natural mind wants to say, no, no, that apple is red. There's no ifs, ands, and buts scientifically or in the spectrum, the light spectrum of things. So, I can reason with both sides. I just don't like being attacked for my testimony of what
Right,
you wasn't there. You have no clue of what I saw or felt or heard or did. So for other people to come in and say, I don't believe your testimony, one, we
right,
have to go, okay. But two, don't force yourself on me and say, I don't believe you, and then hammer it in why, because it's really, I'm never going to change anything about me,
right.
you
Well, you
know?
will change over time, of course. You already said that you've been corrected on something.
Well, when I say anything about me, I mean the what makes Tanisha Tanisha. I'm not talking about,
Right.
like mistakes or like a metanoia, change your mind. I'm going to
Hmm.
always on the surface be Tanisha.
Right.
Whatever qualities that make Tanisha Tanisha. But to metanoia or change your mind about things, of
Right.
course.
So I'd like to. Okay, what I normally do with people when they say, "Well, that's your anecdotal story," I say, "Okay, well, let's stop and look at my anecdotal story and see if it makes sense in reality, and see if you have a better explanation for what I've experienced than my explanation for it."
Mhm.
So if your game will run through just one occurrence
Mhm.
of how you got corrected spiritually
Mhm.
without anybody on this planet talking to you about that topic, and we'll break it down sectionally and look
Mhm.
at it reasonably and logically, and see if it stands on its own. What do you think?
Sure.
Okay, cool. So you have to pick one.
Of my situation, a
Sure.
circumstance. Okay. Okay. So right before the fires rang out in California.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go back to 2016. 2016. Um, I knew a plague was coming. I didn't know what kind. I knew a plague was coming. I knew Russia was involved. And then I knew the fires were coming, and I was told to go flee to another city during the fires. Not
Mm-hmm.
not by a human, by any certain, not the weatherman. The weatherman didn't say it. But these fires, when we fled, right when we fled, like maybe 2 days later, they broke out and the atmosphere turned red like Mars. But we were in another place where it was clear and no
Right.
smoke
Right.
for a couple of weeks
Okay.
until the smoke cleared. How did I
So
know
my
that?
first question: Did you start the fires?
No. And the reason
No.
why I hesitated because I did think I did at one point.
On a spiritual level, but not that you did not go and light a forest on
No,
fire.
no,
No. Like you didn't take a blowtorch out there and start catching trees and brush on fire. You did not do that. Okay.
no, I
So it's
did
not a
not.
self-fulfilling prophecy. Not
Yes,
at all. Okay.
yes.
Uh, do you know who did start the fires and they do it? Did they do it at your behest? I'll just do it one thing at a time.
I have a feeling on who might have started a few fires, but no, I do
Mm,
not know. These are
okay.
just ideas, but no, I do
Okay.
not
But
know.
certainly no one did it because you asked them to.
No.
Okay, so you didn't do it and you didn't ask somebody to do it. Okay, great. And you guys left the area. Now, when you
Mhm.
say you left the area, were you living at that time that was going to soon catch on fire, and you guys maybe would have perished or something like that?
No, no. What the way the fire was set up, it was actually around us. And we
Oh,
have,
wow. Okay.
yeah, so we have one main barrier, and that's the marina.
Hmm.
So we have the marina as one natural barrier, and then there's a hill, and then there's it's called Eden Valley or Eden Canyon, sorry. So we have
Hmm.
Eden Canyon, and then we have uh the marina.
Hmm.
But the way the fires were set, they were north and south and
Okay,
west, I
so
believe.
you guys where you were got a lot of smoke, maybe some heat. Is that what you're
Smoke,
telling me?
heat, rain, ash.
Oh, wow.
It
Yeah,
was
I
red
never thought
like
about that.
Mars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so not a safe place to be, and you felt like the place was going to be unsafe for some kind of fire thing, and you received that, you say, spiritually. So you guys packed up and left before the fires ever started,
Hmm.
and you didn't cause the fires, but the fires came, so everything that you thought was true became true.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, I'd love to hear some kind of a refutation for that. Like, okay, uh, do you historically have ideas like that come into your mind and the stuff just doesn't happen?
Uh no, that's the scary part. These things
I know.
have as I when I begun to realize that I was getting the news before the news people and the weatherman,
Hmm.
that was scary. And I wasn't going on
Yeah.
TV prophesying saying this is going.
No.
No,
Well,
they was for me and my family.
here's the thing about that. If you prophesy publicly and you're wrong, you're just an
Mhm.
idiot,
Right.
right?
Right.
And if you prophesy and you're right publicly, you're a hero. Problem with being a hero is that'll ruin your life.
Yeah.
So when you receive real information that's going to immediately happen and affect people's lives, you don't go tell them.
Nope.
You really can't.
No, one, you can't, and two, it wasn't for them. It was
Right.
given to me and my family.
Yeah.
And a lot of people did take offense to that when they found out. They was like, "Well, no, I'm not a prophet, but I am in tune with the real God." Now, if people
Yeah.
have problems with that, that is internally on you because
Yeah.
I don't have a problem. So if
Right.
you I'm not going to change my tune and the things I say so you will feel comfortable with what I'm saying. I'm sorry. When I said
Right.
I'm Tanisha, this is what you get. You're going to
Hmm.
get to Nisha, and I'm not changing the tune to make other people feel comfortable because they don't believe or it hasn't happened to them. I'm not gonna do
So,
it.
right, no, you shouldn't. What do you think of the idea of It's Skinny coming onto the show right now and speaking with both of us, especially you?
It's skinny. I
I
don't know.
trust this person in a limited way. I'd say they're going to be nice.
I don't think so. I mean,
No?
it's
Okay.
your show, but
No, 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 no.
I
You're the
don't know this
guest.
person and
My
you
whole
know.
job is to pander to you. Okay?
Yeah.
That's what
And
I'm doing here. I'm
you know what?
pandering to
I
you.
don't really go. I only pick like there's only a few shows I go on. So,
Hmm.
yeah, but I don't know this guy, but I'm sorry it's skinny. Maybe another time.
Well, perhaps It's Skinny could like provide some information to me, which I would provide to you, and not the other way around, and you can make a choice later.
What does he want? Let
Have
me
a
look at
conversation with you.
the chat.
Quote unquote, damn, I wish I could have a conversation with this lady.
Oh, go up the one before.
Uh-huh. I don't
I
think
don't
the real God
see.
would
There you
come down
go.
and talk to anyone to just show he's real.
So
Well,
here you
actually,
have
that's what people want and need.
right. So here you have a perfect example of what I'm talking about. So
Hmm.
my I've dealt with a lot of it skinnies before. So
Okay.
they want to get on and try to prove their point that this powerful guy, why would he speak to her? Her
Why
at all
not?
people. Exactly. And I don't have to I always resort back to I don't have to validate ignorance. It is
Right.
very hard to.
Right.
So,
Besides that, if let's say you become a great student of any discipline and you get really good at it, like you've got a
mhm,
quadruple doctorates
mhm,
effectively, right? Well,
mhm,
what you do after that is you feel like this is important information. I could share it with other people. If I do share it with other people, it's going to benefit them. I think I'll share it with other people. So it's like if you knew everything, why would you not tell people stuff?
mm. It's
You know?
some people not mature enough to handle certain information. Some people are not ready. For example, a lot of people I'm gonna use this government agency as an example because I think it's ridiculous. A lot of
Hmm.
people will just say, "Oh, NASA means Satan," and twist the words and spell Satan with the word NASA and say,
Really? I've never
NASA is
heard that
lying.
one.
Oh my gosh, NASA is evil. They're lying. They're hiding things. That you hear all the stuff about NASA, but the truth
Hmm.
is, I didn't see when I was in the third heaven. I didn't see the church. I saw NASA. And so, if we're supposed to keep our minds on things above and of heavenly things, why wouldn't you reach out to the agency that is dealing with that? But
That's a
they
good
sit there,
question.
so the the stuff the earthly church deals with is boring. It's
Oh
boring.
yeah.
A lot of the stuff is wagon wheels and flying flesh horses in the stratosphere where we know that's impossible. Okay, and that it's no creativity. There's no imagination. They just the things that they interpret through the Bible. It's like, are you still in the wagon wheel days? Like, why?
Yes.
What? I mean,
No,
just
they're all about the church tradition. You're completely right. And they can never veer from the church tradition. Here's the funny thing about it to me is they'll grow up learning a certain mindset of how to look at things.
mm-hmm,
And then as an adult, they'll go find the church that's right, which means that agrees with their biases.
mm-hmm.
And then they say that church is the right church. And I'm just like, you're church shopping. That, that,
I
that
never
doesn't
heard
make any
that.
sense.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I sort of coined that because of phrase. They're church shopping. It's just like
Mm-hmm,
you go to you select a tomato out of all the tomatoes. Well,
mm-hmm.
fine. That's the tomato you like. Good for you. That
Mhm.
doesn't make it the best tomato.
Right. And I'm very particular about the food I eat. And I don't
Right.
like eating old food. So
I want fresh food. Thank you.
exactly. So I don't this old flying dragons and all this stuff and the antichrist is boring. And
Yeah,
a
it
lot
is
of
boring.
times they die before they even that a lot of them will die before they even get a chance to even have an inkling of the truth of that.
You know what's really funny and profound about that following traditions?
Mhm.
The Christian reading the Bible, or Christian church reading the Bible, thinks that they're the exception to the rule, even when the rule comes out of the Bible, right?
Yeah.
And rules like lean not upon your own understanding,
Mhm.
or live by every word that issues out of the mouth of the Lord. And what those kinds of ideas, and there's lots of them repeated a lot. My people perish for a lack of understanding.
Mhm.
Is the idea is you're not going to get this, and you're not going to get this from a church, and the only way that you'll get what I'm saying is if you ask me what I meant. So you
Mhm.
have to go to the author. And if you don't
Mhm.
go to the author, well, I wish you luck figuring it out. Have
Mhm.
fun.
Yep. So a lot of things that to me they're the church, the earthly church with their carnal minds, their understanding is just boring and it's bogus.
Mm-hmm.
And I cannot be arrested in that type of development. It's in
Right.
my mind. I just can't do it. I'm see, even though we were created, we are creation, we still have a tendency, we can art. Just like in the prayer says, "My Father who arts in heaven." What do you think that means? And so it's like the sometimes, yeah, it is up to the word, to the author interpretation of what they're writing or what they're seeing. And back then you have to look at, okay, well, yeah, they was doing wagon wheels back then, but
Yes.
I don't think they're riding chariots with horses in the stratosphere. We have
Mm-hmm.
to adjust our thinking and say, okay, we know. Okay, if you just want to say they're going to be supernatural horses, that's fine, But I know that's bullshit, you know. I know that we actually have rockets and we call them Pegasus, and they're white. So I know that, okay, I need to think what was the best way they could describe things back then according to what they had in that time, and say, okay, no, we're not using guillotines to chop Christian heads off today. Okay, because
Right.
a lot of pastors in the church are teaching that to their congregations, that in the
What?
tribulation that they're going to get their heads chopped off by guillotines. I guarantee you can just search the freaking Babylonian YouTube. So I'm like, okay, if the government want to kill you, there's a cleaner way to kill you than to have a city full of dismembered bodies and heads. Okay, there's a cleaner way if the government really
I
wanted to
think I
kill you,
know what you're
Christians.
talking about. I've heard that espoused when people start looking into the federal emergency management association, FEMA, and their holding facilities that they've built across the nation. I think I know exactly what it gets really paranoid crazy.
Yeah, yeah, and they go there, and that's from years of indoctrination and not looking into the scriptures yourself and not letting Holy Spirit lead you. You're being spoon fed what this old pastor from the middle of the Bible Belt has been spoon fed himself from his
Yeah,
daddy. Because
yeah,
a lot of
sure.
them are pastor kids, and they were reared into the religion. So
Hmm.
yeah, it's hard for me to sit there and take Christians
Well,
serious in the tribulation with guillotines.
say something about something in particular in your view of the Bible that would differ from mainline Christianity, mainstream Christianity, that you think you can justify from within the text. And I would lead that. I would say something first if that made you more comfortable.
Well, we talked about this previously. The
Mm-hmm.
the whore, the woman. Uh, what is it? What is that scripture?
The whore that
The whore.
sitteth on many waters.
Yes. Why they didn't put
Yes,
two and two together and say that was Queen Elizabeth? Like, why is free public information? But no, what Christians like to do is run around and play pin the tail on a donkey when the donkey is public information. It is Queen Elizabeth. Okay. That, I mean, it's not it's not like some ghastly new gnosis or information being a Gnostic. No, it is public information. You can look in the records and see, okay, I have a crime scene. I'm looking for the whore that sits on many waters. And you have to match the characteristics of this person described in the Bible according to what we
mm-hmm.
see now. America, as much as we Christianity abhors any woman in Christianity being higher than them, a pastor, because technically Christianity is a sexist religion. So any woman in higher standing than a pastor, they consider that blasphemy anyway. But you don't hear the Christians
Some
complaining
yeah,
about Queen Elizabeth and how she's sitting on many waters and how she has a commonwealth of many lands and many peoples. So it's
that
things
is
like
true. She
that.
does.
Yeah, it's things like that to go, you know what? Come on, y'all. How could y'all why y'all don't see this? What is wrong with y'all? But then I learned it wasn't for them. It's not for them. They want
What
the
makes you say that?
sensational. Huh?
What makes you say it's not for them?
Because it's not sensational enough for them. This person in the Bible has been here the whole time, but it's not sensational as a fire breathing dragon coming down and a whore. You can actually see a huge gigantic whore sitting on a mountain. It's not sensational enough. They have to have the sci-fi version. It's
I think
too
you're right.
boring.
The magic sells.
Yeah, it's too boring. They want to find the dungeon. They want to play Dungeons and Dragons. They don't.
I've made this comparison, and I say this to agree with you. Um, I do believe that it's important to respect others and what belongs to them, what physical things they own, no matter how different they are from me. I think
Mhm.
that's true. I should, but
Mhm.
that doesn't mean I think that there's three talking bears in the German woods,
Mhm.
and that this little blonde haired girl went out and found them and took some of their crap disrespectfully.
Mhm. Yep.
So one part of it, it's completely true in reality, but the story that's told to say that is it's a parable. It's an example. It's not to be taken literally. When the
Mhm.
Christians say something like a talking serpent, I go, come on, man. Like, do you
Yeah.
really think that's what it means is a talking serpent and a
Yeah.
talking donkey and
Right.
floating axe
Oh
heads?
gosh. Oh
You really think that,
gosh.
that they're an iron axe head floated? That's what you think that means? Seriously?
And iron and steel floats if you have a pool of magnesium. I think it's magnesium. Is that
Well,
the
there's
silver?
lots of stuff that's more dense than iron.
Yeah, and so if you throw an axe head up in a pool of magnesium, it's gonna float.
Well,
But
that's true.
there's things like that, and like you said, the talking donkey. It's funny how the pastors accept a talking donkey, but they won't accept a talking
Clout says he
woman.
thinks you mean Mercury.
Mercury. Thank you for correcting
Okay,
me. Yeah.
okay,
Okay.
that's it. Yeah,
That's
okay.
right. So yeah, it's funny how they'll take the talking donkey, but no, we ain't taking the talking woman. No talking women, but we'll listen to the talking donkey.
I just, okay, I can't, even if I am completely wrong about how this should be read, I'd still read it this way because I can't look at things like I'm this innocent child who doesn't know what's real and what's not. I just can't do it. Uh, so it does make sense to me that there is this oppressing, overbearing man, right? And
Mm-hmm.
he's in charge of the situation, and he doesn't see the angel, the actual angel in his path, and that angel's going to kill him, and he's riding the back of something that's described as sure-footed and strong and dependable. He's riding that thing's back, and he's beating the thing that he's riding.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I think that's totally true in the dynamic between the beast of Satan being the rider. He's riding on the back of the Jesus, the dependable one who's right, who does see the angel, and the beast of Satan doesn't see the angel that's going to kill him. I think that's totally true, but I don't think it's a literal talking donkey.
Mm-hmm. Right. Right. And so, what would you tell them about the donkey talking? How would you describe that?
Well, this is how if you look up the word donkey ass right there,
Mm-hmm.
you'll find there's actually like two different Hebrew words that can be ass. Peace and respect, Metabun. And one's has a good connotation, the other one has a bad one. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
one's like stubbornness and uselessness and red slime pits and all kinds of bad stuff. And the other kind of ass, the one that appears in that story, is like dependable and loyal and things like that. So
Mm-hmm.
it's talking about not the animal, it's talking about aspects of a human being, personality types.
Mm-hmm.
So when it says ass, it's describing a human personality type. By the way, we adopted that euphemism into our modern English. That guy is an ass. What do you think that means? He's literally a donkey? No, it means he's the kind of person that's stubborn and doesn't want to cooperate, and he's pretty useless. You know?
Mm-hmm. And when I tried to explain that, I set the whole freaking church on fire just from saying,
Yeah,
okay, it's describing personality traits. Do
it
you?
is.
And so one of the things I brought up was the Cain and Abel,
Mm-hmm.
and they were like, I don't remember this guy's name, but he was like, I said, do you actually think he was that he actually brought forth a lamb and he sacrificed it, or could the lamb have meant uh children or people? Because I can cross reference in the Bible where the lamb is referred to as a person.
Wait. Lambs, plural,
Uh-huh.
is
Mhm.
people, or sheep.
Yeah.
The plural sense is people,
Mhm.
right? Is that what you're saying?
Right.
Yes, you're totally correct. It's
Right.
it's a kind of a person.
And I think it's an ewe lamb, uh also in the Bible described as a daughter, which is my favorite passage because I consider myself an ewe lamb.
Mm-hmm.
So when I bring that up, okay, he brought forth a living sacrifice, the fruit, because in the Bible, the fruit also means children. So
Mm-hmm.
if we
That's
go
right.
back to the original um writing, which were symbols and ideograms, because a symbol would tell a whole story.
Yes, it
And
does.
so when we look at it symbolically, lamb, ewe lambs, sheep, they're describing people. So
Yes,
yes, I can refer back and say, no, Abel brought forth offspring.
yes, that's
So,
right.
and
He
Cain
produced
didn't.
fruit. It's talking about people.
Yes. And
But
then,
when you bring forth offspring that's approved by God, that means you have testified and made them a believer.
mhm.
They
Yeah,
might not even be your
exactly.
children. They
That
might be people
right.
you just spoke to.
Right. He brought
It
forth
doesn't mean killing innocent animals. It just doesn't.
Yeah, because we are told to be living sacrifices,
Hmm?
not dead. What? How are we serving God if we're dead?
Well, that's why you end up with lines in the text like, I didn't ask for these sacrifices, these new moons, these. I didn't
Mm-hmm.
ask for this stuff. It's not what I meant.
Mm-hmm.
And boy, the Christian churches will really glaze over that line and completely just ignore it. You'll never hear a
Mm-hmm.
preaching about that line in a church.
Right. And then the new moons and stuff were purposely for us people. I'm not a farmer, but I'm a gardener. They were for us to know when seed time and harvest was.
Mm-hmm.
They were not meant for us to worship. They were sat there for us to go, okay, it's seed time. Oh, it's harvest time. Okay. And then we have this calendar. That's what it was about. That is
I, I don't know another way to look at it, really.
right. And
I
then
mean, that's adult like, that isn't at some super simple level.
right. And then they have another problem when I say, uh the female, we wasn't created until later. When he said he made them male and female, he wasn't lying. You have an X and a Y chromosome. Oh, I'm not
Mm-hmm.
female. Then give me back my nipples. Because you have an X and a Y chromosome. He made you male and female. We were created later. So they have a tough time with giving back my nipples because they don't want
I'm
it.
not sure I totally agree with that biologically, but if you look at some of it literally, I can see why you're saying that. I can. The
Yeah.
fact of the matter is that it's not till there's this huge dose of testosterone that a fetus becomes male. It starts out all of us female.
Hmm.
So
So you said when
it's
we
interesting.
start off as female,
Hmm.
and
Like, what
then
were my ovaries became my testes.
hmm
What would have been, they were never actually ovaries. What is a proto ovary became testicles. Yeah,
but had you had not had that X chromosome, he wouldn't have been able to create Eve.
there you go.
So we are an extraction from the male, which were originally and still is today. I know there's like other modifications now, but
Mhm.
XY,
Yeah,
that is the DNA. He extracted that X chromosome from, unless, and this is very controversial, unless they want to
mm.
say that the original person was a woman. They
That
don't
would
want
be
to go there.
controversial.
Oh yeah, it would be.
It would.
If God is a woman,
I think the truth of the matter is, if you want a slave, you want something physically strong and not so bright, which means you
hmm
don't want a woman.
that's
You want a
funny.
guy, someone
Right,
easy to manipulate with a good strong back. That's what you want.
right,
Women can come later when you want there to be reproduction and more slaves.
right.
But time's up. Can you believe that? We just got
Oh,
started, but time's
I
up.
know, but that's actually cool because that gives me the rest of the day to do whatever I have to do. And then
You've
we
been
can,
lovely. Would you like to say anything? Closing thoughts? Wrap it up. Tell me I'm an idiot. Whatever. Go
no,
ahead.
of course not. But I would like to say is we need to respect other people because eventually we will become a multi-planet species, whether you're here for it or not.
Hmm.
But a religion's going to go bye-bye when we
Yes,
become
it is.
multi-planet species. And I suggest y'all get on it right now and start cleaning up the dogma in your life. Um, Stop being spoon fed because it's not helping. All these genealogies and all this whatever, it's not helping you grow mentally and physically. But yeah, we need to respect other people's beliefs, and I think we'll get along better as a multi-planet species, even if you're not here for it and your children are.
Yeah. And in
All
fact,
right.
I'm going to agree with you so strongly that I think I can make a strong case from the Bible that in Christian standards, the father is an atheist.
I could agree with that.
He's completely non-religious. He doesn't even like religion.
Exactly. Okay, Richard. It was
Thank you
nice
so much.
talking with you. And bye, guys. I'll be roaming around later on tonight on somebody channel.
Sister, you were lovely. Thank you so much for
Love
your
you
time,
too.
short as it
Agape
was.
love. Bye.
Okay, guys. I didn't get to say peace and respect to Hillary's emails and Ivan Van Veen. Peace and respect to you. Thanks for dropping by. I hope you enjoyed it. Anybody, feel free to use that email, richardcurtismadsen@gmail.com. That's my actual and only, no kidding around, email I've had, I don't know, for a while now. And you're welcome to use it. If you want to tell me how stupid I am and why, that'd be great. If you want to have a conversation on one of these Meet and Eden episodes, great. We'll do that just as soon as we can get our schedules to overlap with some free moments. Okay. Until then, peace and respect to you all. Thank you all so much for coming by. And anyone who might watch this in the future, I want you all to know that I truly do look forward to the day that we're all great friends.